Hello, everyone. Uh, Thank you for connecting, maybe from the US or from Europe or from Asia. Thank you for connecting to this Ask Me Anything session that we are doing today with Orano and Orano Med. Um, as you might know from being connected here today, is we are currently launching a startup challenge with Orano Med on accelerating development of targeted cancer treatments. And obviously, Julien, and we have both two Julien here, Julien, the CEO of Orano Med, and Julien, the Chief Scientific Officer of Orano Med as well. Just to remind you, Hello Tomorrow, what we do. Every year we run targeted startup challenges with our clients. And this is why we're here today with Orano Med. We help them source the startup and then select the best ones. And as you might know, we also have a global challenge at Hello Tomorrow that ends every year at the Global Summit. And next one will be on March 9 and 10. And hopefully, and we will go back to the summit later. And hopefully, we'll be able to meet you all at the summit in a few months. So I won't take the mic too long. The idea today is that we present you the challenge. We present you what Orano Med is looking for, why they're looking at these kind of solutions, what they plan on doing with you if you apply and if you are selected, what's the timeline, what's the prices, all of this. And we might miss a few important information. And if that's the case, please don't hesitate to use the question tab or even the chat to ask your questions, and we'll be happy to answer them at the end of this short presentation from all of us. So thank you very much for being here, and I leave you the mic now to Julien for the presentation of the challenge. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Vincent, and thank you everyone for connecting. So the challenge we're launching and we're talking about today is really about being able to predict in silico the affinity of some targeting molecules for their target. So maybe just to explain how a targeted radiotherapy works, because that's what we do. I'll just give the floor to Julien, who's going to explain basically what's on the bottom left-hand side of this slide.
Sure. So the radioisotope is a payload that is attached to a vector. And that vector can be anything, technically, anything from an antibody to a fragment to a small molecule to a peptide. And the vector just brings the payload to the cancer cell, and then through radiological decay, the alpha particle damages the DNA inside the cell and causes the cell to die. So that's just a quick overview of what we do.
Right. So the way we do the R&D today is pretty classical in vitro and in vivo experiments. And so what we're looking at is obviously not to do all the steps of R&D in silico, but maybe to accelerate some of the steps or have hints on which molecules or which configurations of the molecules could be promising before we test them in vitro and in vivo. So maybe we can go to the next slide. So what we intend to do and the way the challenge is going to work is so we will provide the startups participating in this challenge with real data. So this is data we're gathering as we're speaking, and so what we're going to do is we're going to tell you what is the target molecule we are looking at, in particular the extracellular part of the target molecule. And what we're going to ask you is to test a number of different potential targeting molecules, and we are actually gathering real data on the affinity of this molecule. So that's one thing. So the test is against real data. Of course, in this challenge, I think you can also benefit from an expert network. Of course, the scientists at Orano Med in Julian's team, but also our board members who were involved in this challenge, and well, let's say the Orano Med ecosystem at large. Also, of course, the goal is for us is to if we have some interesting solutions, promising results, is really not to stop at the end of the challenge. It is to keep on working with the startups who've shown good potential, who've shown great potential in this challenge, and and to see how we can implement this on new projects.
And if I may, we have this additional value proposition for this challenge. I know that for most of you, all of this is way more interesting than what I'm going to talk about, the real data, the partnership opportunities, and this expert network. But so as you know, every year we organize this deep tech event in Paris, called the Hello Tomorrow Global Summit, and Orano Med decided to offer to the best applicants, selected applicants, a pass for this summit, and it would be the opportunity for you to get inspired by deep tech solutions and entrepreneurs in healthcare, but also outside of healthcare, linked to energy and industry of biotech and mobility and all these topics. So really, a great way to connect and make connections. So we'll be happy to have you. That was just an additional cherry on top of the cake, we say. I don't know if it's something we say in English. So that back to you, Julia.
I was just going to add one thing. The goal of the project really is to streamline the work in the labs for us at the end, because right now, without being able to predict the molecules, it means we have to synthesize hundreds of molecules sometimes per project, screen in vitro and in vivo those hundreds of molecules. So if we're able to predict which one may or may not bind, we can, from the get-go, synthesize fewer molecules, characterize fewer molecules, and test in vivo fewer molecules. So that's really the goal of the project for us.
Thank you, Julien. Yeah, if you want to add more information.
No, it's just to go to the next slide, please.
Yeah.
About next slide, if you want, I can take this one. I hope the sound is okay. I sometimes have.
Yeah, it's better. The cracking noise is gone.
Okay. So before it comes back, so we've opened the application a few weeks ago. Today, November 8th, is the Ask Me Anything webinar. The webinar will be available on replay on the landing page of this challenge, and will be sent to all of you here connected, and so you will have the opportunity to review that. We close in a bit less than a month. In December 6th, we'll close the applications, and we'll start the review process. It will take a few weeks. We want to be thorough. We want to check some little details, I guess. And so expect to receive maybe additional questions to prepare for an alignment call that we like to organize during the selection process to make sure that there is a good fit, and it goes both ways. You with Orano Med and Orano Med with you, making sure that you align also on, a common vision of what you could do together. So that's what's going to happen during January and February, and obviously, as I said, we'll be happy to have a few of you selected by Orano Med's team at the summit, and from there you'll be able to start testing your solution on this experimental data that will be provided by Orano Med, and really validate your models, and that could be the start of the real collaboration with Orano Med. You might see in the application form that we don't sign any NDA because nothing is secret, I would say, in the questions we ask you. But obviously for the rest of the discussions, even starting at the alignment calls, we'll be happy to sign NDAs to make sure that everyone feels free to talk and fully protected to push towards this collaboration. But yes, you don't have to wait December 6th to apply. And you don't hesitate to contact Marwan or myself before December 6th if you have any questions or additional questions after this session on the application process. Thanks. I give back the mic to you, Julien, for maybe a few words on that. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vincent. A few more words about targeted alpha therapies. We work in oncology, in oncology only. Targeted radiotherapy globally are a new therapeutic class, let's say, a pretty new one. At this point, it's mostly based on beta emitters like lutetium-177, and you may have heard of drugs like Lutathera and more recently Pluvicto. Alpha therapy are based on alpha emitters like lead-212 and have the potential to show a better efficacy for a safety profile that is equivalent or maybe even better than betas. So this is really what we're working on, and it can work basically with any kind of tumor. Because of course all tumors tend to overexpress specific cellular markers, and so this is at this point of time we have a portfolio of projects. Some of them are already in the clinic, some others are more at a preclinical stage, and again in a preclinical stage, anything from really early discovery to IND preparation. So this is the context in which we are launching this challenge. So our strategy is pretty simple. We develop these new therapies. Sometimes we develop this in-house. Sometimes we develop this in partnership with other biotechs. And of course, we're focusing on areas with very high unmet needs. So we have this, we have innovation in our DNA. I think all the company is really focused on bringing these new, very innovative therapies to the patients, and I think we would be incredibly excited actually to partner with startups in that would actually help us actually go one step further in terms of innovation and accelerate the development, and in the end, that will benefit patients. Right. So not well. I won't spend too much time maybe on this. So Orano Med was created a bit more than 10 years ago. We did a kind of proof of concept in the clinic between 2012 and 2014. And as I said before, now we have a pipeline of let's say a dozen molecules. 2 of them are in the clinic. 1 of them is in phase 2. We're based in France and in the US, roughly half. A bit more in the US than in France, and yes, we are part of the Orano Group. So the Orano Group is a large nuclear company specialized in fuel cycle and nuclear materials. So this is, of course, also something that matters, I think, in this challenge, because beyond Orano Med, the Orano Group also invests quite heavily on innovations and is at the center of a wider ecosystem that I think have tremendous value for Orano Med, but in particular, but for this challenge more generally.
And we have the chance to have also Nathalie Collignon, which is the innovation director of Orano. She's here. She waved. She's here today, and she's really part of the team from the framing of this challenge and definitely up to the selection with the Orano Med team. And if you're selected again, you have the opportunity to meet her at the Hello Tumor Global Summit, because Orano is one of our main partner for this global summit. So yeah, we'll have an opportunity to talk about that. So hello, Nathalie. I don't know if you want to add something around Orano, but I think Julien said everything.
Yeah. Well, do you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Julien. We are here with Marie and Sophie, and yes, thank you for mentioning that. Of course, Orano Med is part of Orano and gives being part of Orano. The idea is that you can get access to different assets, to different competencies, to different materials that would help you to grow and validate your solution too. So this is one of the strategy that we developed some years ago now to support deep tech startup to validate their solutions within our industrials asset, using our experts to accelerate the development of the startups, but to accelerate to the development of solutions to serve Orano's competitiveness, but and Orano new business development. So there's a great ecosystem that we are working on, that we are feeding, and hopefully you startup that are online today, maybe you could join. It would be great.
That's really part of the value proposition, and what is great in these kind of innovation challenges and startup challenges that we run is to see the startup benefit from all of this ecosystem, not just one team from the clients, from you, but also everyone that could be relevant for the business or the technical solution development. So yeah, definitely happy to have you here as well, onboarded here. Julien, do you want to continue maybe presenting? I think next one is your footprint. Yeah, exactly. Your facilities. I mean, you talked about that, but
Yeah, so we are headquartered in Paris, well, Châtillon to be more precise, but that's that's Paris, let's say. Right now, so we have an R&D center called, well, in the center of France, inside a facility which is called the Laboratoire where we are already manufacturing on a daily basis the parent isotopes of lead-212 and lead-212 itself. Next to this, we have a common laboratory with Roche. And we've been collaborating with Roche for close to 10 years now. So in the US, Julien and I today are speaking from Dallas, where we have our main R&D center, and where all the preclinical work is done, except of course what is done at Arcolab. This is also where we manufacture also almost on a daily basis GMP doses for the clinic, because we have ongoing clinical trials. And as you can see as well, we have this AtLab, what we call AtLab, so Alpha Therapy Lab, in Indianapolis, which is a commercial scale facility we're building to be able to produce enough doses for patients when we go commercial, which should be soon enough.
Thank you, Julien, for the presentation. So this is everything regarding the challenge. We will now go on the question side. And if you have any question, please go to the bottom right of your screen. You have tabs, and we have one with chat and question. You can ask your question in the tab question, and you can upvote it with a thumbs up, like that we can see which one is interesting for you. I will start with the first question that I had during past calls. It was regarding the selection criteria. What is the most important selection criteria for you?
I will let Julien complete my first answer, but it's I think it's really some the correlation we would find between data from computations that the applicants would be able to produce, and the experimental data that we are gathering on our side. So this is, of course, this is the heart of the challenge. This being said, of course, we're also interested in the profile of the applicant, right? And since we see this as the beginning of a longer term collaboration, maybe we want to make sure also that the applicants have the technical resources, the expertise in-house, or at least a network of expertise that and also maybe the stability that will make it a good long-term partner. Do you want to?
And maybe it's not just a one-sided exchange of information, because we can always backfeed the models with the information and make it grow and improve over time. So I think depending on the amount of information available, that may be key to over time getting something that's more and more accurate.
Absolutely. We do see that as a collaboration. I mean, again, that should be the start of something. And of course, we will be looking at the benefit we can grow from such collaboration. But as in any collaboration, it it probably only works if the other party is able to get benefits from it as well. And this is really the mindset we're in.
Okay, great. And one question regarding the collaboration. How do you manage if there are IP generated when collaborating with startup or SMEs?
Well, that depends very much on the collaboration, of course. But here, I mean, of course, our goal is not to make any kind of commercial exploitation of the methods that could be developed. I mean, the methods that will be developed by the startup will be the methods of the startup, right? So we do not intend to have any claim on that. We're interested in being able to use it. And of course, if and that's quite typical, if we fund the development of specific methods, we will look for ways to be retributed from that financial effort on our side. And this could take many different forms. Exclusivities, of the IP, these kind of things. But this is something that on which we will see in time how that is what makes sense for us and the company we're working with.
Okay, great. One question from the chat. It's regarding the data. I think Simon missed the beginning, and he didn't. He was not there for when you explain the data that you can share with them regarding the testing phase. If you can say a few words on it.
Sure. So we generate binding data through two different methods currently. We have an SPR, surface plasma resonance, and we have a less common piece of equipment called a monolith from Dianthus, which doesn't require immobilization of either the target or the binder. So that's the two pieces of equipment we use for in vitro purposes. We can, of course, also generate in vivo data. We do have an animal facility here. However, comparing in vivo binding, there's a lot of parameters that come into play. So it makes it a lot harder to know if the prediction of the binding actually means anything in vivo, because the circuitry half-life, for example, will affect how much uptake you have on your tumor. So I would suggest at this point we stick to in vitro data.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. One other question is how many startups will you plan to select, or will you select for the testing phase?
I'm not sure I have the answer. Vincent, you want to take this one?
I hope my mic doesn't isn't weird like it was
No,
before.
can you reconnect?
I need to reconnect. Okay.
Maybe waiting. One question was, who is reviewing the application?
Okay, so we'll let Vincent answer the previous question, and then we'll talk about the review process.
How many startups we will select, right? So basically, we could say if there is a fit, it will be selected, right? If we believe that your solution makes sense and could benefit from the data provided by Orano Med, it will be selected. But what we expect is that a few startups will be selected. We might have 2, we might have 4, we might have 6, but that's usually that's what we would expect, right? What we plan on doing is have as many insightful and interesting discussions with you during the alignment calls. And if we have to make 15 calls, we will make 15 calls. With these kind of challenges, we it's really specific, really targeted, and we don't expect to have 100 applications. So we will have the time to really look at all the applications and select all the ones that are relevant. For the ones for the second questions, I see Marwan that froze. I don't know if it's the same on your side, but
No, that's good.
yeah. For the second questions that I heard, that who will be selecting, right? So basically, we will select in 3 phases. The first phase will be Hello Tomorrow, Marwan, Sorab, which is also in the team, and myself, maybe Vasco as well. We will be selecting based on eligibility criteria. Are you fitting the general ask for the challenge? That will be the first step to make sure that the Orano Med team is really focusing on what we would call the best applications. And then, Julien, I'll let you answer that, and maybe one of you too, who will be assessing the applications on your side.
So we have we're putting together a jury, which is composed of people from Orano Med. So Julien, of course, as the CSO, I will be part of the jury as well. So on top of that, we're going to have Nathalie Collignon will be part of the jury as well. And we will have also one of our board members who will participate. He has a very extensive experience in the biotech world, but mostly investing in biotech, because he's the founder of one of the largest biotech funds in Europe. So he's been very much in touch over the past years with many different biotechs, and actually beyond biotechs, companies, startups gravitating around the biotech industry. So this is going to be the jury. Of course, when we move to the testing phase, Julien's team will be even more involved to really look at the results, analyze them, and see how good they are.
Great, thanks. Oh, one, yeah.
Yeah, one more question is, are you open only to startup in the US and France, or anywhere in the world?
Anywhere.
Okay, great. One question in the question tab, it's regarding the lab facilities. Can you provide some lab facilities if you are working with startup? Or is it just sharing data for the first steps?
I don't think, well, maybe I haven't thought this through, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense to give access to any lab facility. We're the one generating the data.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the question though, because what kind of lab facilities Orano Med can provide, I'm not sure I understand the question personally.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Okay, so Glenn, if you are still here, can you precise a bit your question? In the meantime, I had another question. Are you interested only by AI startup, or in AI startup, or are you interested with other?
Well, I think AI is anyway a pretty broad thing. I mean, of course, in this field, the methods used to calculate the affinity or the binding energy, some of them have absolutely nothing to do with artificial intelligence, and we are perfectly fine with that. I mean, of course, artificial intelligence or some methods of artificial intelligence have allowed to accelerate calculations or reach levels of precision that were not available before. but we're pretty agnostic about this, and I'm in regular, calculations, orbital calculations with high performance computing, which have nothing to do with artificial intelligence. For us, are just as good as long as in the end the results generated are convincing.
Okay, perfect. I don't see any other question in the chat. Vincent, if you have some, maybe.
I know that sometimes we have these kind of questions like, did you already collaborate with startups at Orano Med, maybe at Orano Group? Is it something that you usually do? That's usually something that the kind of questions that we see here.
Yes, of course. Well, Orano Med itself is a startup.
Yeah.
I mean, more precisely, we would probably call this a scale-up today.
Yeah.
So I think we understand, and I mean, the time when there were just less than 10 people inside Orano Med is not that far away, and we know the kind of challenges startups have because we've been there. I mean, on a daily basis anyway, we do collaborate with a number of biotechs, a number of which are kind of pretty early stage startups, and so we are absolutely used to collaborating with startups, and so that's not new for us.
Awesome. And I think just because I see again the question from Glenn, and he didn't specify his question, but just to clarify, there won't be any lab facilities that will be provided by Orano Med, but what will be provided are relevant data for you to test your models, and that's the main, I would say, value proposition from this challenge here. And by doing that, you will have access to many experts and relevant people from Orano Med and Orano ecosystem. And obviously, the next step would be a partnership. Depending on the kind of partnership here, maybe we'll have something to do with lab facilities, as Glenn put it, but that's not the main focus here. Just to make sure that it's clear.
Okay, great. If we have no other question, we will conclude this webinar. So thanks everyone to attend this webinar. Thanks to Orano team and also Orano Group team to be here and explaining everything on the challenge. If you have any other question, please hesitate to contact me or Vincent. We will be glad to answer. And if you want to visit our landing page and the brochure, we are sending the link in the chat. So here is the link for the brochure, and here is the link for the landing page.
All right.
Okay.
So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Hello tomorrow. And so thank you, everyone, to all participants. And we're really looking forward to meeting some of you and start working on this pretty exciting challenge.
Bye, everyone.
Very much. Looking forward.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.